My name is Toussaint Como. Welcome back to my channel. This is the channel where we talk about fragrances and arts. Today I'm talking about the house of Tiziana Terenzi. I was fortunate to be introduced to a representative of the house who sort of educated me about the fragrances. To be quite honest, I have been hearing about them and I really didn't know where to begin because I have very specific taste in fragrances. The bottom line is I'm not a frag head where I am looking for the most adventurous fragrance that is the biggest leather bomb or the biggest oud bomb. I must admit that I like fragrances that are virtually somewhat artfully crafted with measure and some composition. The composition is done somewhat balanced and with measure. And I also like fragrances where I believe and I'm convinced that there was a lot of love and creativity and inspiration that went into the crafting of the fragrance. So I definitely have been quite impressed with the story of the perfumer for the house, Tiziana Terenzi. The perfumer's name is Paolo Terenzi. He is a sailor. He goes all over the world sourcing his materials. The family has a tradition in candle making for all those great churches. So a lot of his inspirations are rooted into this rich heritage. So I ultimately fell in love with White Fire and Caput Mundi. So I am actually going to mostly talk about Caput Mundi. I will talk of White Fire perhaps in a different follow-up video so that this particular video is not too long. So, Caput Mundi. Before knowing anything about this fragrance, I was having coffee with the person who was showing me this fragrance, and he had me smell several fragrances. And when I came across this one, and he sprayed it on me, and that's Caput Mundi, I was like, this smells like Italy. Italy is one of my favorite places in Europe. You know, hubby and I had our second honeymoon there, and we had returned several times, and I like this one. So it was a no-brainer. I said, I'm getting this one. There was no doubt about it. So just to tell you more about this fragrance, Caput Mundi, there are several collections and several perfumes under each collection in the house. So Caput Mundi is from the Lunar collection. The idea of the Lunar collection is to rediscover oneself, as if you are taking an epic journey back to where you are and perhaps back to, to a place that you have forgotten, but that's lingering in your memory in sort of a very beautiful way. So Caput Mundi means capital of the world. And Rome has been referred since antiquity basically as the center of the world. It actually means center of the world. So Rome is in fact the inspiration behind this creation, and it is reminiscing of Paolo, the perfumer, being in Rome and a trip he took with his grandfather who has taught him the craft of perfume making. And this is an inspiration that capture, based on what he says, his awe under the black moon over the city and how he was being succumbed under the charm of the history of the city and its past glories as the Roman Empire. So I definitely did capture something, je ne sais quoi. I felt Italian about this fragrance, having been in the city. So how did he manage to capture all this artistically in the fragrance, his interpretation of this memory? I usually don't go into details with the note because I'm not really a perfume expert. I just enjoy beautiful fragrances and art. But I actually do want to do that a little bit. And this is to show what I think is the genius that went into the crafting of this fragrance. Because had I seen those ingredients before I tried the fragrance, I probably would have just say, okay, I'm just going to pass. So the top notes are Bulgarian rose, musk rose, iris, lily of the valley, and cabruva. Cabruva is a tree native of Brazil that has an essential oil that is suave, that has a woody and balsamic floral undertone. The middle notes are black India oud, sandalwood, red patchouli, saffron, and orris, which is an iris root. And the base note are ambergris, cedar wood, cashmere wood, agar wood, and Cambodian wood. So this is, in other words, this is a rose oud fragrance. I cannot say that I am a rose oud fragrance person. Like, I've had to return a number of fragrances that are big rose oud type of fragrance, like Perfumista Avenue. It was just too much for me. So I had gotten many samples from the house as well. And most of it clearly shows the ability of the perfumer to engineer these powerful fragrances. They leave a mile-long sillage. My kids get in the car and feels like they're going to pass out. I mean, in a good way, but being young kids, they can't really appreciate the complexity of these fragrances. But be it as it may, the sillage are like sillage monsters. They are beast mode fragrance. The perfumer is very good at creating those things. So to tell a cute story about it, as I was testing all those fragrances, I was like, this is kind of intimidating to me. And that was even before I actually had my conversation with the representative. I had received a number of samples. And, so I posted something, which was perhaps a little bit obnoxious. I was like, these fragrances are like for the metrosexual man, and they're just like too much for like a Frenchy, classy person who just want her, very clean and fresh fragrance. And Paolo Terenzi responded to my little Instagram rant and recommended a number of fragrances that he thought I would love. And one of them was Caput Mundi. Clearly, Paolo just nailed it when it comes to fragrance that I was going to like. And everything just worked in this fragrance. And given the notes I said, notes that I'm usually not comfortable with, I would attribute the fact that I like this fragrance purely on the skill of the perfumer. I mean, I'm not an expert, but it is very clear that what he probably was able to do is sort of, and that makes it work for someone like me who does not want extreme craziness, is adjusting the element of the composition in such a way that the heavy, rich effect of the woods are sort of interspersed with the lighter, brighter notes, of the rose and the soft rose musk, the Bulgarian rose, which is a very smooth rose. So he was able to sort of juxtapose and intersperse them, those heavier notes and the lighter note, in a way, that just came out very beautiful. And he repeated the notes at different stages. Like, noted that I mentioned that you had the oud in the middle and the base. So because there is this continuity in the fragrance with the balance of softness and, heavier note, you never move into the fragrance and the experience of the fragrance in a fragmented way. So the whole composition to me, was complete harmony. And the whole thing came out very opulent and at the same time nice and approachable and wearable. Like, I'm just loving myself right now with this fragrance. So it actually reminds me of the same approach taken by Dominique Ropion in Portrait of a Lady. For those of you who are familiar with that fragrance, so you sort of expecting something ultra refined, sophisticated, and feminine, and so which is what I was expecting when Paolo recommended this fragrance. But like Portrait of a Lady, what I actually got was something else that at first glance could not be construed as ladylike, with all, the wood and everything. In the case of Caput Mundi, you have the cedar wood, as I mentioned, the cashmere wood, and all those things that are not ladylike, but which surprised me by the way the whole thing was layered, was interspersed, was put together. Clearly, Paolo knows what he's doing. He's able to go really beastly. He's able to go so soft and almost romantic, like, quite frankly, the caress of a full moon in his memory. I feel that this fragrance totally captured this beauty, the beauty of this city, the beauty of a woman. Although men can wear it, all these fragrances are unisex, but as far as I'm concerned, to me, that's quite feminine. And so it's soft, and it has the intricacy to it that was just totally acceptable to me. It was a bit adventurous with all the wood, but everything is really done in a beautiful way. So I'm very happy with the fragrance. Clearly, this is the soft version of the house, Tiziana Terenzi. I will be talking about other fragrances, and they're probably going to be the soft side of it, because that's the type of fragrance I happen to like, and I will be making some recommendations on those fragrances. And I'm just very happy to share this experience with you, and this beautiful fragrance, quite frankly, Caput Mundi, from the house of Tiziana Terenzi. So thanks for joining me today. I am just very happy. The video is long. I'm not going to show you my art directly, but I'm sure you can get a little glimpse of, the art that I've been so happy to share with you. And until next time, bye.